So now that Joel and I have a full can of cider, we're gonna walk around his cider house and get a good idea on how all of this is made. Cider, what do you want to do?
Yeah,
all right.
Look at the cider. So I mentioned that we source all of our apples from Washington and Oregon. So what happens is apple harvest is actually really short. It's pretty much October of every year. And I've got a good supplier that will take those apples that harvest every year and freeze them for us. So when we place our order for juice, they're pulling those apples out of the freezer, pressing it and juicing it, and then sending it down here to us. So the first thing we do is we take the juice and we fill our fermentation tanks. So those are all the tallest tanks in this room. I think we got 15 of them right now. They're all considered 70 barrel fermenters, so they're 2,146 gallons a piece. So we fill those up, and then we will add our house yeast to it. It's a yeast that was actually designed for white wines, so it leaves a lot of apple character and aroma, but at the same time, it actually completely dries out the product, so it's bone dry at that point. And it ferments pretty quickly in about a week and a half. And so whenever it's completely done fermenting, what you'd have in these tanks would be considered apple wine. So it's bone dry. All of the carbonation that's developed during fermentation comes out through the top through an airlock. So it's also completely still. So it'd just be like a white wine you've had that has no bubbles. And at that point, what we will do is we'll actually filter it through our filtration system here. This is a cross-flow filter. The cool thing about it is it actually eliminates everything from it, all bacteria, yeast, anything. So it's crystal clear after it goes through here. And we'll filter it to our bright tanks that we have over here. And these two bright tanks we've got, we got a 30 barrel and a 45, so they're 1,000 gallons and 1,500 respectively. And that's where more of the magic even happens to our specific recipes.
Okay.
So Crackberry, for example, our flagship brand, that's where we add our cranberry and blackberry and blend it all together. Apple pineapple, we add our pineapple in there. Texas Tea, this is a new brand we're actually about to launch, I'm holding right here.
And that's being canned right now.
It is actually.
We're gonna go see that can.
We're gonna see it in a few minutes. Yeah, canned for the first time today.
Okay.
So that's where we actually add black tea in there. So we actually almost do like a cold brew process. We steep it on black tea, the cider, and then we will also add some lemon to it as well. So it's basically just apples, lemons, and black tea. So you know, there are a lot of alcoholic teas out there, but they're FMBs that are nasty.
Before we go into this any further, I always like to ask that $1 million question. When does the juice become alcohol? When the fermentation process. So I always, you know, in the beer industry, the yeast eats the sugars and everything's magically made up from there. How is cider different from that, and when is cider considered alcohol?
Sure, so as far as the fermentation, in that regard it's very similar. So we don't get the sugar from the grain, instead we're getting it from the fruit naturally. Okay. So in the fermentation tanks, you know, that sugar will consume, or the yeast will consume all that sugar, and yeah, it'll ferment, and it goes nuts pretty quickly. But a lot of times on our tours, what we try to do is allow people to try it beforehand, so they can try our straight juice, and we'll even find a tank that's in the middle of fermentation and the one that's done, so they can kind of realize that progression, and they can taste the dryness as it goes through, and they can detect if there's any sugar left also. So it's pretty cool.
So are we talking days, weeks? You know,
about 10 days.
About 10 days.
About 7 to 10 days. Yeah. So
for a batch?
Pretty fast. Yeah. So then it's a matter of how long we want to let it sit for and age in those tanks before we end up using it for processing.
Well, now that we've been into your fermentation house, and your cellar house, show us your canning line.
Let's do it. So yeah, as I mentioned, they're canning Texas Tea for the first time today. So that's what they're running through up here today. So yeah, it's apple, cheese, and lemons.
Some Texas Tea.
Yep, Texas Tea. So one thing I felt like, I won't name names, but some tea companies out there, FMB companies, have ruined what an alcoholic tea could actually be for the market. And all the ones out there are usually fermented corn sugar or something nasty. So, and the nutrition facts are horrible too. So we're changing that up drastically with this one. But soon we'll be releasing nutrition facts on this as well, and we think people are going to be pretty excited about it. It's one of our top 3 selling ciders currently at the Cidercade location as well.
Let's give a shout out to Wild Goose Candy Line. They're based out of Boulder, Colorado. I've known them for quite some time. They've done great things in the craft industry. They have developed some amazing products that have survived and saved so many breweries and helped get their beer across their markets. Just a big shout out to them. Love them to death. Alexis and the team over in Boulder, Colorado, cheers to you.
It's been an awesome line. We've probably run 5 to 6 million cans on it in the last 2.5 years. And yeah, we love it.
Good.
But yeah, as you see, the cans come off the end of the line over there. We're going down a little slide into our pasteurization tunnel, which we can show you all back around on this side. So this piece of equipment will actually take the completed finished seamed cans and they will run down a long conveyor belt through this unit, about 35 feet long. And what happens is we spray hot water on top of the can, and that will heat up the can, and it'll literally pasteurize and kill all the yeast that's inside the can, so that it remains, every drop remains as good as we intended for it to, like years down the road. So it adds a much longer shelf life to the product, and it extends the freshness of it. So,
okay. I want to do an experiment here, so excuse me,
yeah.
Joel. I'm going to grab your can right off the line that was just filled. This was just filled just 1 second ago. We're going to carry it over into this over here. It's nice and cold, feels good. So I've got this cold can in my hand. I'm gonna set it down.
It's a little
and I'm gonna
toasty.
grab this one. Woo! This is a hot can. Hot apple, hot potato. Can you tell me what the importance is and why you go from cold can to hot can in under a few minutes?
Yeah, so,
I can't hold it.
Well, yeah, it's toasty. So what that allows us to do is, and if you're more long-term goals, is to eliminate a lot of the things that people don't want in their beverages. So sulfites are something, a preservative that's used in pretty much all cider and wines you find on the market, and we're working to get away from doing that. So we're talking to the government about getting special notations on our cans to state that ours actually doesn't have that in there. So our top priority here is only putting ingredients in our product that are necessary and that people want to consume. So you won't find any added sugars in any of our ciders. You won't add any coloring agents. One of the most common things you see in cider is apple essence. I don't know why they can't just add apple. Why do you have to have the essence of apple? I don't know. But there's just, a lot of ciders you'll look at and the ingredient list will be 20 or 30 long when I'm like, it could be 2 or 3. So we only want to give people what they want to be consuming and use the best ingredients possible. So that's going to allow us to not use like sulfites as an example, and some other people will use other chemical preservatives in their ciders, so we don't want to use anything like that. So instead we invest heavily in equipment like this.
Science is important in anything, especially right here.
Yeah.
So anything else? We've got a whole plethora of cans that are ready to go out to the market, right?
Yep. Oh, we can definitely show Mango Habanero. So this is our Q1 seasonal that is going out right now.
And these are warm.
Yeah, they're definitely warm. This is our number 3 cider on tap here, and we use the sales of our ciders on tap at our facility. So whatever consumers come in and buy, that's ultimately determines what we put in cans. So it's, you're voting with your dollars for sure. But yeah, this is our Q1 seasonal. It's a Mango Habanero cider. It definitely has a little bit of heat to it. So we didn't go subtle on the habanero because that's how we like it. But and then Q2 is actually going to be it's called Main Squeeze. It's a lemonade cider. So we did the tea now. We're doing the lemonade then, and people will be able to do almost like an Arnold Palmer kind of thing, mixing the two. So it'll be pretty fun.
A pretty fun process here. There's so much omitted from the beer industry. There's no brew house. There's no brew deck. It just goes straight to fermentation tanks.
Yep.
Quite fascinating and a quite growing market. And I'm pretty excited to have you and have the show become a part of this today, because this is something that's going to be growing month after month, year after year.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. And 2018 we did nearly 500,000 gallons of cider. So we're excited to, see what we can do in 2019. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've seen your cider house, can you show me your cidercade?
Let's do it. Let's go back up front.
Okay, so now we've seen the cider house. How about the cidercade? This place is ridiculous. There's skeet ball, there's games that are from the 1970s and beyond. We're gonna go inside and see all these games. From pinball machines from the 80s, or the 70s and 60s, who knows?
Yeah, we've got over 170 arcade games here within the cidercade.
I mean, look at this. This is unbelievable. I don't ever see this anymore in this world today. We don't get this
Pinball
opportunity.
As an example, we have the largest selection of anyone in North Texas. And the best part about the cidercade, though, it's $10 to get in, and all the games are free to play. So
$10.
No need for quarters.
No quarters. No tokens.
And it's a little more adult focused. Kids are welcome in the day, but it is 21 and up, starting at 8 p.m.
Do I get coupons so I can win a free eraser or something like that?
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, good.
You
I
have
don't
to go
need that
Dave & Buster's
anyways.
for that. You can get a couple bouncy balls too.
So I'm looking at games, I was born in the 70s, so I'm looking at games that I loved back then, and they're here.
Yep.
How did you get this? How did this all become about?
Yeah, so whenever we opened this location, initially this was just our tasting room. It was tables and chairs. We actually did live music in this corner. We had a stage and everything. And I just ultimately decided I want to do something different, offer something different than anyone else. And I was kind of tired of tasting rooms that just had tables and chairs in them. So I wanted to add a much better form of entertainment. So yeah, we decided to convert it over. Yeah, so it was initially just this front room, and we've actually gone through 3 different expansions because we just keep hitting max occupancy. So we're trying to, I think we're officially completely out of room now, but yeah, it's been awesome.
So in the front of the house, you've got over 24 or 25 taps.
Yep.
We've
got 24 cider taps, and we have another 6 wine taps. So we've got 30 total ciders and wines on tap. There's no beer or liquor here. So it's, you won't find a selection of cider anywhere else similar to what we've got here.
All right. And so that's kind of where it all begins. You kind of find out what the market wants, what sells, what doesn't sell, and then what eventually goes in the cans and goes in the market. Can we go look at that tap room?
Let's go.
Check it out?
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, it's kind of the place that people can preview what they might ultimately have in the market. So Dark Side, for example, had a lot of popularity, and it was one that it was our top seller for the last few months before we decided to put it into cans.
Hi, Megan. Say hello to the world.
Hi.
Hello, world. Okay, so you've got all 24 on tap. This is a list of everything that you've got carried on.
Yep.
And you get $10 to get in, play all you want, and then you can just buy your ciders like free will.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and our cider makers have a lot of flexibility in making whatever sounds good to them. I mean, so you got anything on the board from right now. We've got a horchata cider. It's all over the board. So you won't find anything like this selection anywhere else.
Okay, what the hell is horchata cider?
I think you got to try it. That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
Some of the names we intentionally leave cryptic.
Could you pour
so
me a little
people have
horchata cider? And is horchata like this fruit from some third world country or something? What's going on here?
A horchata? So, you want to explain it to them?
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of a creamy cinnamon cider.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm in. Creamy cinnamon. Being it's the holidays, nice and wintry out. This is perfect time for that.
It's 32 degrees outside or whatever it is today.
I taste both the cream and the cinnamon. This is very nice. Thank you. Okay, so we've seen quite a bit. You showed me about the brew house. You showed me the cidercade. You talked about your place. You talked about the history from when you and your wife were brewing in your own kitchen. Can we finish off and play a game together?
Let's do it. Yeah, I think we've done enough talking.
All right, no shit. Let's do that. Which game can we play?
I think we stick to more. I think it's better for more in the middle room. I mean, it is almost Christmas time. You can stick to Die Hard. Right?
Let's do Die Hard. There's a game called Die Hard?
Yes,
How did I not know this? All right, Die Hard. So that's great. About all of your games, you've got almost cup holders everywhere, right?
For sure.
So 2-player. All right, Joel, thank you so much for enjoying me and bringing me on board today. I had a great time talking to you. Hopefully we can get some more people to your place and a few more people know about cider and how it's made and the goodness and the greatness about where it's going and what it's going to do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
We've done enough talking now, right?
Yeah, we're good. That's it.
Celebrate Christmas. Get some Die Hard.
Yeah.